case next year though, because they'll realize how few times they actually use it.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think it's
24
I
hour
think it's a
access
yearly
service.
thing. Bob?
Because Joan told us the numbers of how people actually.
One year.
After hours?
Yeah, it's one and done.
You know, you get to receive them, that's what you need.
Eventually you.
I need to go by and get that, because I'll usually start, sometimes I'm going early to get stuff done. You know, I'm going to stop at 8 o'clock.
I wanna see what it does.
How you doing, Jackie?
Pretty good. Okay, that's perfect.
After. Yeah.
Minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah, couldn't remember whether it is or not.
Ruth's wearing a sock. Ruth, are you wearing you wearing a sock?
What?
Are you wearing a sock?
Yes, sign it to me.
I know.
Have to advertise that as soon as we can, get it going. Want $1 more we had last year.
That's right.
We'd like a lot more, except for $1.
Well, I wonder what happens with the water when we break that pipe, how much money we lose in gallons of water that we put out there. How we judge that in our losses. I know we went to the new, metering system to understand how much leaks we have. That's something we never really realized that, how much loss.
And what is the norm of
Yeah,
loss?
and what, and I forgot what we pay for per gallon from, water department, but I think we get water from two groups, we get water department and
That'd be easy, just takes the amount of water you use, or disappear,
yeah,
and then what this is what we mean.
yeah.
And they can show.
Well, I'm sure it was significant loss.
Absolutely, those big line.
They had another big line bust out by Kingston. Couldn't get to come in and leave it.
Well, like up in Holiday Island, they're like something like 80, yeah. They're up. They're in real rough position over there. They can't give those lots away. And if you look on the map, it's an absolute most primo zone you could ever hope to be in, It's just like 2 lakes, river, horses, hospitality, everything.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. It used to be real nice.
It used to be.
Well, actually, I guess it probably is still, but it's not. I haven't been out there 2 or 3 years, so I don't know. Of course,
People that have properties like guys, I don't know what the fees are. But when you're losing that much of your utility all the time.
say we're losing.
When they lived up to, when you have a
Leagues every year. Oh, yeah, expected, I guess it could be 50.
I've never been to that, 15 probably.
It's probably plenty.
Yeah.
Cause that corduroy hadn't been,
That's been a thing for
hadn't been paid. Well,
Actually,
could be 25.
yeah. Okay. 20-second warning.
Well, you can just kind of stuff down. Get kind of loud. You don't be talking behind them.
That's the way I plan to go.
Meeting will please come to order, please.
Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, as we do from time to time, we're going to deviate slightly from the published agenda. Keith would ask for the opportunity to address the board and, of course, the membership through the recording.
So, Jason, I'm not coming to ask for any expenditure. I asked David to give me an opportunity. Some of you were able to attend my event last night, and I appreciate you coming. I know some of you had other things you need to do. But I wanted to make a public announcement to thank the POA as a whole, the membership, this board, the other boards I've worked with, committees, for the support that they've given me and my staff. It's meant a lot. You know, I think the leadership from the board over the years to look where we are today from when I got here 10 years ago is incredible. That's due to the work that y'all do right there, first of all. And I have to mention Tom, too. His leadership has been very helpful in us moving forward. So, you know, it's 45 years to the day when I retire next Friday from when I graduated. And I don't really know how I'm going to feel on that day. But I know it's been a great run for me. It was a fantastic opportunity that I was given here, and it was a great way for me to end my career. So I thank all of you for your support and continued support you're going to give Graham and the staff that I leave behind. So thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug.
So we're very happy that,
So excited for you. Thank you very much. Thank you again. Yeah, they'll be told.
we are very lucky that Keith gave the last 10 years of his 45-year career to Bella Vista. We are much better off for what he did for us, and he's currently working with Graham Kornmeyer, and we expect great things to continue. So with that, we will go back to the agenda. First thing up, the approval of the minutes from the March 28th Board of Directors regular meeting last month. Can I have a motion to approve? Jackie? Second? Sandy? Did anybody find anything that needed correcting? Good. All those in favor? 9. Next up is last week's work session. I missed that meeting. I understand Jan did a really good job of getting it over quickly. Everybody seemed to be appreciative of that. Can I have a motion for those minutes?
So moved.
Jason? Jeff? Anything to be changed in there? All those in favor? Thank you. 9. Next up, the Joint Advisory Committee reports. First up is Recreation. Deborah Lukacs will report the state of affairs.
The beginning of the meeting started, we had visitors, quite a few from the tennis committee. 2 of the members spoke to us about a concern regarding scheduling courts on Saturday mornings due to the USTA leagues reserving them in advance. However, Joan was able to work with them and resolve it, block time out for the men's tennis group on Saturday mornings, and everyone left happy, and it was well resolved. Our amenity highlights, as I say every month, everything looked wonderful, just a few minor maintenance issues. A few things to mention. Over at Branchwood, they are going to replace all the signs on the disc golf course. So at every hole there's a sign, so that'll look really nice and it'll be a nice upgrade. At Loch Lomond, it was suggested that we put up an information sign describing the fish hatchery process, types of fish, things like that. Member education, appreciate of the process. The management team seemed to really welcome the idea. They had felt like they had an extra kiosk they could repurpose, and so they're going to look into taking care of that. So that was a pretty good turnout. Over at Kingsdale, it was noted that courts 7 and 8 have cracks developing And over at Blowing Springs, a long-term suggestion was to consider adding a bike repair station at the Blowing Springs trailhead. The POA staff reports, Tom gave his monthly range update, which everyone here is well up to date on. The major point there was it will be ADA compliant. Ozark Sportsman in Springdale has had 344 members visit there in the last month. Rick Eccles informed us that the Lake Windsor is filling. I can tell you not fast enough, we need more rain. Okay, the Avalon Fishing Dock project has been completed, and the RV storage gate will need to be replaced in the near future. Finally, Joan brought us home telling us, or reminding us, that there was damage done to the Kingsdale playground and they're still waiting on parts. That's why it's not open yet. The kiddie pools over at Kingsdale and Metfield are going to be repaved. And finally, the BVRC pavilion is scheduled to be power washed and cleaned this spring. Questions?
I'll just make a comment about the RV gate. We went out there to do something the other night, and they have the phone number for the Lake Ranger, and we called, and I'd say within less than a minute, we got a phone call back saying, hey, I'll be right over there. And we decided it wasn't important enough, but I'm just reporting they're very responsive to that number to come and help people who need to get in there. So appreciate that.
Thank you, Jackie, for sharing that. I'm sure the team appreciates it. Our next committee meeting will be May 13th, Monday, 4:00 p.m., boardroom and live stream. Have a good month.
Thank you, Deborah. Watching the weather forecast today, maybe we got a chance of getting that lake filled up, but who knows? Next up, Lakes, Tom?
So the Lakes Committee met on April 10th, and along the same lines, at that point, Lake Windsor was 21 inches down. Hopefully that has improved considerably. Rick and his crew are going to have an open house on May 11th at the aquaculture ponds to demonstrate, to show everybody, the community, about the last pond that is being constructed. The Kids Catfish Derby will be on May 18th at noon at Metfield Clubhouse. Lake Norwood is being considered for next year's drawdown, and you'll see in your packet today that Ross Gerner and Carol Phillips have been nominated for re-election for another term for the Lakes Committee. And that's everything.
Thank you. Golf, JAC, Ruth?
Okay, it's fairly lengthy because we've got 2 months in one. We met April 10th. Introduction of Graham Kornmeyer as the new Director of Golf Maintenance. He gave some of his background. His last role was at Southern Trace Golf Course in Shreveport, Louisiana, a Black Diamond Ranch in Florida prior to that for 5 years, which is 45 holes. University of Georgia graduate, we won't hold that against him. Certified golf course superintendent since 2018, in the business for 22 years already. Staff reports, key themes, still early and need to wait to see how area green up over the next 30 to 45 days. And we know that's a real concern for everybody because it does not look green out there at all. And they're working on it. Aeration and fertilization programs have started, and positive results will begin to show when the temperatures are at least 60 degrees every night. Projects ready to sod the tee at the back of number 6 at the Country Club, walk across to number 8 at the Country Club. 2 truckloads of sod have been scheduled to arrive. More sod will arrive next week. The new tee box in the back of the Kings Highlands driving range didn't make it. They will be resodding it. Capital projects completed. The new variable speed booster pump is going in at Scottsdale to help water flow uphill on number 14, which should be done in a couple of weeks. Golf operations, Darrell Muldoon. February and March rounds are as follows. February rounds ended 9,939, up over 4,000 from last year. January was really cold and we're down, and March rounds were up rounds were 17,000, up 8,038 over last year. Total year to date are 30,020. This is up 9,300 rounds over last year. And the range buckets have gone down because Tanya Creek being closed, we have anticipated it. Year to date is 8,500, down 4,435, so almost half, but we expected that, so that's not a surprise. Golf Expo was a great success. They had 250 guests. Sign up with all groups was great. Lots of new faces, new people coming out and wanting to join groups. They'll be moving to the big hall next year. It was a little crowded. Expectations for '24, continued growth of golf program. The biggest challenge will be Tanya Creek being closed and during remodeling. And Tanya Creek update, the architect was out and adjusted some of the plans to make for better facility. All changes can be found in full minutes of the golf committee. I didn't bring them here. Parking space is very limited for private cars to Tanya Creek for the country club, and Darrell asks to encourage people to not bring their private car, to use one provided by the country club instead to save space down there. Darrell filled in for Alex for tournaments. 3-person scramble at Dogwood went very well. Folds of Honor is coming up at Highlands and still a little light on participation. Operation 36 is rocking. 17 ladies in 2 classes have been going already and had the first juniors 4 and 11 of it was full. 4 of the 11 of it was full. General management from Tom. Emailed ballots for board election have been sent. If you haven't received one yet, check your spam folder. Mailed ballots should be hitting your mailbox soon. I encourage you to do some research to make an informed vote, but most importantly, vote, vote, vote. Ruth presented 24th Bella Vista Golf for Charity is scheduled for Wednesday, May 22nd. All green fees for that day from all 7 POA courses will be donated this year to nonprofit charities, which are all Bella Vista charities: Animal Shelter, Historical Museum, Community TV, Courtesy Van, and the Boys and Girls Club of Benton County, Bella Vista unit only. The Bella Vista Foundation is sponsoring a silent auction and wine treat to enhance our funds for the nonprofit charities. This event will be held at Bella Vista Country Club May 22nd through 25th, with 100% of the proceeds being distributed by the foundation to support projects of local nonprofits. Encourage all golfers to play the day of May 22nd and support golf for charities. Sock it to me donations will be taken on the course, so you have plenty of opportunities to help out. The next regular golf meeting is Wednesday, May 8th at 4 o'clock here in the boardroom. Questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Next up, the financial report. Every month we get to talk about money and hear how it's going. Beth?
We'll talk about the results for March and the first quarter, and as always, the financials, the detailed financials are on the website. So we'll start off with the consolidated, that's POA and water together. For the month of March, we had revenue of $3,358,000, which was better than budget and prior year substantially. Expenses were $2,166,000, also better than budget and prior year. And EBITDA was $785,000 for the month, better than budget and prior year. Looking at consolidated still for year to date, revenue $9,152,000, better than budget and prior year. Expenses $6,632,000, better than budget, and just about $300,000 roughly more than prior year. EBITDA was $1,423,000, much better than budget in prior year. Looking at POA only, for the month of March, revenue was $2,508,000, again, beating budget in prior year. Golf fees, cart rentals substantially contributed to that. Greens fees, both guest and member, contributed to that. We received a patronage refund from Carroll Electric, and $74,000 of that was allocated to the POA. Food and beverage was $52,000, better than budget. Member transfer fees, assessment fees, pro shop sales, all beating budget. The only substantial worse than budget was boat registration fees, which was $23,000 worse, but it was still $3,000 better than the prior year. Then looking at expenses for March for the POA, $1,824,000, beating budget in prior year. Maintenance and repairs was $68,000 better. If you look down, maintenance and service agreements and outside contracts were $18,000 worse, so that kind of feeds into that a little bit. Equipment over $500, non-capital was $50,000 better. Salaries and wages and utilities were better than budget. Looking at the POA's year-to-date numbers, Revenue was $6,479,000, which was $523,000 better than the budget and $612,000 better than prior year. Expenses were $5,387,000, which was $673,000 better than budget, $187,000 more than the prior year. EBITDA was $686,000, which was $1.14 million better than budget and $403,000 better than the prior year. This is an interesting graph that shows the first quarter, the number of golf rounds for the first quarter for the last 5 years. Notable on that, the red line is the total golf rounds, and they're between the first quarter of 23 and the first quarter of 24, there was a 45% increase. The green line is members. In first quarter of this year, 70% of the number of golf rounds are member golf rounds. The blue line is the guest rounds. So you can see that the member rounds are still quite a bit, substantially more than the guest rounds. Weather does have a huge impact on Q1 golf round numbers. It makes it very volatile and very hard to budget and hard to predict. You'll see we had a pretty good weather in Q1 24, so as you can see by that 45% increase. And that little dip in 2022, that was a very cold, snowy Q1. So looking at water for just the month of March, the revenue was $849,000, which was better than budget in prior year. Water sales, Bach water sales were better, and we allocated $19,000 of that patronage refund to water. New service connections and capital buy-in fees were both worse than budget. Looking at water's expenses for March, $341,000, which was better than budget and prior year. Meter installation materials, water distribution equipment was better. Some of that hit the previous month. Salary, wages, and benefits were better, and credit card process charges are going up. Looking at year-to-date for water, $2,673,000 of revenue, which is $78,000 better than budget, $181,000 more than the prior year. Expenses were $1,245,000, $82,000 better than the budget, and $100,000 more than the prior year. EBITDA was $170,000 better than budget, coming in at $738,000 and $76,000 better than prior year. So where do we stand after Q1 compared to the annual budget? The POA has recognized 24% of the revenue that was budgeted for the entire year, and they've expended 21% of the budgeted expenses for the year. Water has recognized 23% of the revenue for the budgeted for the year, and expenses 26% of the budgeted expenses for the year. Cash. We have a total of $7,624,000. $2,488,000 of that is unreserved for the POA. $1,016,000 is reserved for the POA. $3,102,000 is unreserved for water, and $1,017,000 is reserved for water. Looking at the one-pager on the top right, you'll see that we substantially beat budget in gross profit and expenses for the POA, contributing to that $1.143 million of beating budget on EBITDA. To the left, all the departments except for one were better than budget, and it just barely missed budget. But general income, golf maintenance, and pro shops all were winners, the biggest winners in that. The water department, as I stated earlier, was about $170,000 worse than budget. The POA owes the water $2,535,000, and we owe the bank for the BVRC loan $2,333,000. So as a reminder, the detailed financials can be found on the website. Any questions? All right.
Thank you, Beth. At this time, it would be open forum. We have no one signed in and no emails to be read, so we'll move right on to the annual audit report, and this will require a vote to approve.
So earlier this week, the audit committee met with our audit firm, and they went through the audit in detail. And I am very pleased to announce that we had another clean audit, no adjustments, nice and smooth. We're getting used to these really good audits, but it's easier said than done. It takes a lot of work by a dedicated team, so very proud of the team for a great job. And so we are asking the board to approve the audit at this time. We will, assuming the board approves it, the auditors will then issue it, and we will post to the website at that time. It may take a couple days, so if you're looking for it immediately, we have to wait for the auditors to issue it, and they can't do that until the board has approved. So look Monday or Tuesday of next week, and then at the annual meeting, we will have a presentation about the audit. Most people don't realize that because they see the results of the election and then they leave, and then I'm there alone presenting information about the audit. So there you go.
First things first, right? As long as it's a clean audit, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Is there any questions? A motion to approve?
I move to approve the 2023 annual audit as recommended by the audit committee.
Thank you, Jeff. Mike wants to be a second on that one. Were there any questions from the board? Then we'll go right ahead and vote. All those in favor of approving the amendment, the motion? 9-0. Okay. That gets us to our annual report on non-performing lots, which is really a bright spot. So, Tom, go ahead.
We do this this report every year after March 31st, which is the cut as determined who is a member in good standing and can participate in the voting for the board of directors. So it's every March 31st. And so we track it over time. Non-performing lots are those that are not paying assessments. Now that includes the POA, because back in the day, the POA owned 700 lots and we were going to pay ourselves. So I don't have it on the screen. So if there's a presentation we gave to the membership last week where you can see the graphs, or they can go to the packet. Sorry about that. So back in 2015, we had a total of 20.6% of all of our members were not paying. That represented 8,035 lots, which is a huge number. Now, keep in mind, 700 of that was the POA-owned lots. We have steadily, over the years, lowered that number, and as of this year, March 31st, we lowered it to 3.3%, which is exceptionally low, and that represents 1,253 accounts, which is an improvement of 6,782 that are now paying, which is just outstanding. That represents an annual impact to the POA of $1.3 million to the better. On top of that, a lot of these lots have been turned from unimproved to improved. People have been building on those. Now, not all these lots can we trace to our efforts to collect and so forth. Sometimes people just purchased the lots years ago and this just happened to be when they were going to build. But in that time frame, we've had an increase in the number of improved lots by 2,681, which has an impact, positive revenue impact of $772,000. So those two combined It helps the POA to the tune of over $2 million, which is outstanding. I wanted to recognize accounting, legal, collections, member resources, and everybody that is involved in a job well done. At the GM meeting earlier this month, we brought that team in, and they were all recognized by the board of directors for just doing a great job. So this is just great information, great news, and you know, you never know. It is impacted by the economy, so you never know. We could go slide backwards at some point, but we're hoping that we can continue to drive that number down.
Good job.
Just a question, I know it's a negligible number, but how many lots does the POA now have?
37,070.
No.
Oh, there's the PO. Oh, the PO. Sorry, not 37,000.
Yeah.
40, 50.
I know it's a small number, but just
Something to
curious.
that nature.
It's lower than that, yeah, in the 20 to 25 range.
We have lots that are getting ready for the next online auction. And then we just have a few lots that just have legal issues attached to them, and there's not much we can do until we get those things cleared up. So.
Okay. Good news. Next up, an emergency water main replacement issue. Had a main break in the shopping center, Sugar Creek Center. Something to do with the water line being placed immediately on top of a concrete culvert years ago. And pretty much designed to fail, and it failed. So now it's been replaced. I know the hole has been filled in. And now it's our first meeting since it happened. It got repaired quickly, but now we need to approve it because it's a large expense. So, Tom?
You've said everything. This is a $70,000 expense. We informed the board, I think within 24 hours of determining what was going on. While we gave our team approval to move forward, because you can't just wait on these type of things for the next meeting to occur, we did inform the board. They are getting the work done. It was definitely beyond our scope. It is a important area because of the location. It's a large water main. It's a high pressure zone. On top of that, in addition to being on that drainage area, there was 3 Carroll Electric power lines intersecting at the exact same location. So we felt it best to bring in a company that we've worked with many times. The $70,000 we were asking for the water department includes a 15% contingency, so just in case things go wrong. And we have been in conversations with the brand new property owner of the shopping center, and their interest is in getting the work done as quickly as possible, also because they have delivery trucks that come through that area.
Okay, can we have a motion to approve that? Mike?
I make a motion granting the capital project request for $70,000 to replace the main water line break. There is a 15% contingency built in within this request.
Thank you. Jerry, second. Were there any questions? Then we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving? 9. Okay, next item, nominations, renominations for the Lakes JAC Committee. 2 names, Ross Gerner and Carol Phillips. Already on the board and one of the committee, they want to stay there. So have a nomination for those names, please, individually.
I'll do Ross. I move affirming the nomination of Ross Gerner to the Lakes Committee.
Thank you. Jeff seconds. Any comments about Mr. Gerner?
Full disclosure, he's my neighbor. I wish he wasn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what comments are right or not. Ross is good people.
I wonder what Ross says about you.
Probably equally bad.
Okay, all those in favor of Ross Gerner? Thank you, 9. And then a nomination for Carol Phillips?
I'll make a motion affirming the nomination of Carol Phillips to the Lakes Committee.
Thank you. Sandy, second. Any comments? I know I've watched she does a good job. All those in favor? Thank you. That,
Two more quick items.
2 more items.
Just want to let everybody know, the city council passed a resolution which created a permit process for the Tanya Creek parking on the grass, the overflow area. We paid that permit, we submitted the permit, we paid it. City was very cooperative, got it back to us very quickly. So we are now legal. We're actually, they let us do multiple weekends in a row, so we're actually all set through the beginning of September. And I have it on my calendar. We can always apply for additional weekends at that point, but I figured let's just see where we're at before we apply again. Also, the election is at 16.0%. I just checked on my phone, which is trending higher than last year. So now you never know, maybe everybody voted early, but it's trending, so that's good, you know, and we always want a lot of participation. So those people at home, if you have not yet voted, please do so. Look at the information that we have available on our website, make an informed decision, but vote, vote, vote.
Thank you.
I just had one thing, so I just want to give a bit of kudos to the video team, because I've been watching the YouTube channel for Bella Vista POA, and they got some great stuff, including the awesome time lapse of the Tanya Creek project, as well as the new fish hatchery and all the kind of all hands on deck that it took to kind of get that ready over there. So if the membership is interested in checking out more about what Bella Vista is up to, the YouTube channel is a really great resource.
Try to keep the membership informed, so that's a good way to do it. Okay, the announcements, I know they're boring, but the Lakes JAC is Wednesday the 8th at 2 p.m., followed by golf at 4 p.m. here in the boardroom on May 8th. The GM meeting is Thursday the 9th, 2:30 here in the boardroom. As Deborah said, the Recreation JAC meeting is Monday the 13th at 4 p.m. here in the boardroom. There is a work session Thursday the 16th at 9 a.m. here in the boardroom, and the annual meeting of members and election results Tuesday the 21st at 6 p.m. at Lake Point, and also be live streamed. The regular monthly session will be Thursday the 23rd at 6 p.m. here in the boardroom. There's a board of directors for all directors, new and returning, 9 a.m. in the lobby of the country club. This is closed for board members only. It takes a good part of the day to do it. And the board of directors orientation for returning or new board members is Friday the 7th of June at 9 a.m. in the boardroom. And that concludes our meeting for this month. We'll see you at the annual meeting for sure. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.